Health secrets for seniors. Did you know that nearly 48 million Americans get sick from foodborne illnesses each year? And over 3.0 of them die as a result. Alarmingly, the most severe cases often occur among the elderly. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, older adults are at greater risk because aging weakens the immune system, making them more vulnerable to harmful bacteria found in food. Even more concerning, many of these risks come from your own refrigerator, the place you trust most to keep your food safe. Recent studies have shown that improper food storage in the refrigerator can not only destroy nutritional value, but also cause toxic chemical reactions, especially dangerous for seniors. The problem is, very few people are aware of this. If you've ever mindlessly stored fruits, vegetables, or dry foods in the fridge, you may unknowingly be putting your health at risk. Here's the truth. The top food item on this list is more dangerous than you think. It loses all its nutritional value when chilled and may even produce toxic substances if not stored correctly. Watch this video to the end, because what you're about to learn could help prevent illness or even save the life of a loved one. Ready? Let's begin. But before we dive into the main content, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any health tips designed just for you. If you find this information helpful, type 1 in the comments. If you feel it's not quite relevant, type 0 so I can improve the content for you. And now, let's look at the 3 types of food you should never store in the fridge, starting with the first one: onions. This may seem like a simple ingredient, yet it's the soul of countless dishes that carry familiar flavors, bring families together, and create a warm sense of home, especially for older adults who often find deep meaning in home-cooked meals. However, what many people don't realize is this: storing onions in the refrigerator not only strips them of their flavor and signature texture, but can also negatively impact your health, and, unfortunately, you might only realize this when it's already too late. When you place a whole onion into the cold, damp environment of the fridge, a silent but dangerous process begins. Onions are naturally wrapped in a papery outer layer designed to thrive in dry spaces and protect the inner layer sand environment that's cool, dry, and well ventilated. But in the fridge, where humidity is high and airflow is limited, onions begin to absorb moisture, becoming soft, smelly, and more prone to mold. For older adults, whose digestive systems are weaker and immune function has declined, this isn't just about soggy onions. Mold and bacteria thrive in damp conditions, and even if you store cut onions in a sealed container, the risk of contamination still exists. Harmful microorganisms can easily enter the body, posing a threat that shouldn't be underestimated. And the consequences go beyond just taste or texture. Onions contain quercetin, a powerful anti-inflammatory compound, known for supporting heart health and relieving joint pain, which is especially beneficial for seniors. But in the fridge, cell breakdown accelerates, significantly reducing quercetin levels and other valuable flavonoids. In other words, you're unknowingly losing a natural medicine. There's also an emotional loss that's harder to notice. When familiar ingredients like onions lose their flavor or worse, smell unpleasant, it can slowly erode your trust in your own kitchen. Especially in old age, when food is both nourishment and memory, even small changes like this can affect one's sense of comfort and confidence. The good news? This is easily preventable. Simply store onions in a dry, dark, and well-ventilated space like a basket or paper bag, definitely not the fridge. When treated with the respect they deserve, onions reward you with natural sweetness, their distinct aroma, and impressive health benefits. However, no matter how helpful onions may be when properly stored, they're still not the most dangerous food to refrigerate. The next item on the list is far more concerning: peanut butter, a familiar favorite that can harm if stored wrong. For many older adults, peanut butter is more than just a snack. It's a slice of childhood memories, a comforting spread that now serves as a rich source of protein and healthy fat, simple, convenient, and deeply reassuring. But what if that beloved jar, quietly sitting in your fridge, is actually causing more harm than you realize? It may sound surprising, but storing peanut butter in the refrigerator, especially for seniors, can lead to unexpected consequences. When chilled, peanut butter undergoes subtle but significant changes. The oils solidify, and the texture turns thick and stiff, making it difficult to spread. For elderly individuals with aching joints, weakened grip, or limited hand mobility, this seemingly minor inconvenience quickly becomes a real obstacle. What was once an effortless task, making a sandwich, turns into a frustrating and even painful experience. What used to be convenient now becomes a barrier. But texture issues are just the surface. Cold temperatures affect the stability of the heart-healthy fats in peanut butter, particularly the monounsaturated fats that help balance cholesterol and support vascular health. Constantly taking peanut butter in and out of the cold causes these fats to break down and oxidize. Fat oxidation doesn't just reduce nutritional value, it also produces compounds that can increase inflammation in the body. This means the very food you choose to protect your heart may end up doing the opposite, weakening the organs you strive to safeguard. And there's more. Over time, refrigerated peanut butter gradually loses precious micronutrients like vitamin E, a vital antioxidant known for protecting cells, maintaining brain function, and reducing oxidative stress, a key factor in age-related memory decline. For seniors trying to keep their minds sharp, unintentionally losing this nutrient from their diet is a significant setback. You can't see it or taste it, but every spoonful of cold, hardened peanut butter chips away at your body's ability to stay healthy, quietly doing more harm than good. There's also an emotional aspect. Food, especially for older adults, isn't just fuel, it's routine, joy, and a small act of daily independence. When a simple ritual like eating peanut butter is disrupted by hardness, a slight bitterness, or the disappointment of a familiar flavor gone wrong, quality of life quietly erodes. In this case, the fridge stops being a protector and becomes an unseen thief, stealing away those small but precious things: comfort, nutrition, and emotional warmth. The solution is simple. Store peanut butter in a cool, dry place away from direct sunlight. By honoring the true nature of this food, you'll preserve its convenience, nutrition, and the comforting warmth that made you love it in the first place. Store your peanut butter in a dry food cabinet, tightly sealed, placed in a cool, well-ventilated spot, away from heat sources and direct sunlight. With this simple step, you'll preserve its soft, spreadable texture and keep every spoonful rich in valuable nutrients. Trust me, your hands will thank you for no longer struggling each morning, and so will your heart. But if peanut butter, seemingly harmless, still hides risks, there's another kitchen staple even more deceptive. It can quietly ruin your meals, spread bacteria, and leave behind odors in your fridge that signal something far worse. If you're still with me and find these insights helpful, drop a 1 in the comments below so I know you're here. Next, let's explore a humble, easy-to-find fruit, maybe even one you had for breakfast today, that can lose all its nutrients right before your eyes if stored improperly. Are you accidentally destroying its value just by putting it in the wrong spot in your fridge? Bananas always bring a sense of safety, softness, gentle sweetness, and are easy to digest. From the very first spoonfuls of baby food to the later years of old age, bananas seem to always be a close friend to each of us. For the elderly, bananas are not only a convenient snack but also a source of energy and rich in potassium. Unfortunately, an action that seems harmless, putting bananas in the refrigerator, can quietly take away most of the precious benefits that bananas provide to the aging body. At first glance, storing bananas in the fridge doesn't seem too serious. The peel just gets brown spots, right? But in fact, that is a clear sign of cold damage. Bananas are tropical fruits, not made to withstand cold environments. When placed in the fridge, the enzymes responsible for ripening bananas stop working, preventing the starch from converting into natural sugars. The result is a banana that looks ripe on the outside but is mealy, bland, and oddly flavored inside, as if it is not fully ripe. Worse still, this chain reaction reduces important nutrients in bananas, especially dopamine and antioxidant compounds called cacan, substances that help protect brain cells, regulate emotions, and fight inflammation. For older adults, these are precious compounds that help maintain mental clarity, prevent memory decline, and support neurological functions. Once bananas are chilled, these compounds silently break down and cannot be restored. Thus, bananas not only lose their flavor and texture but also their original nutritional role. A fruit that once supported mental and cardiovascular health now becomes a soft, mushy mass of diminished value. Moreover, if overly ripe bananas are kept in the fridge, moisture can accumulate around the stem, creating conditions for mold growth, a small but worrying risk, especially for elderly people with weaker immune systems. The problem is not only nutritional. At an age when every meal becomes part of overall healthcare, trust in food is also very important. And if even a familiar fruit like a banana can betray you just because of improper storage, this is something that deserves serious attention. Fortunately, the solution is very simple. Keep bananas at room temperature, ideally hanging on a hook or placed in a well-ventilated fruit basket, allowing air to circulate freely. If bananas ripen too quickly, peel and freeze them to make smoothies or bake cakes, but do not refrigerate them to avoid losing their value and benefits. We have just uncovered a common mistake that can silently reduce the nutritional value of bananas. But on the other hand, there are foods that, if not refrigerated, can become a real health hazard. So, let's turn a new page. The next foods you will learn about if left at room temperature may be hidden dangers, but when stored properly, they have the power to protect your health and even your life. If you are still following and find this sharing helpful, please leave a comment with the number 1 below so I know you are still here. 3. Foods you must keep refrigerated, or you'll face dangerous health risks. Dairy products. There is something deeply familiar and enduring about dairy products, like a warm glass of milk in the morning, a slice of cheese with crackers, or a gentle spoonful of yogurt after a meal. These simple things are not just habits but memories, pieces of childhood that still accompany the daily lives of many elderly people. But behind the creamy texture, refreshing taste, and comfort that dairy brings, lies a silent yet serious truth. Dairy products must be kept refrigerated. Otherwise, the consequences are not just spoiled food but can directly affect health, even endanger life. Milk, cheese, yogurtol are rich in protein, beneficial fats, calcium, and essential vitamins like B12 and nutrients extremely important in the aging process. However, this very richness also makes dairy an ideal environment for bacterial growth if not stored at low temperatures. For older adults, whose immune systems are weakened, stomach acid reduced, and innate antibacterial defenses diminished, the risk is even higher. What might cause only mild discomfort in young people, like a stomachache or nausea, can be the start of a serious chain of problems for the elderly, from food poisoning to severe infections and even hospitalization. Leaving dairy products at room temperature for just a few hours begins to alter their chemical structure, allowing harmful bacteria to quietly multiply. We may not see or even smell anything unusual, but that doesn't mean they aren't there. Once inside the body, these bacteria can cause digestive disorders, trigger chronic inflammation, and even worsen underlying conditions such as arthritis, heart disease, or irritable bowel syndrome. A body gradually weakening no longer has the strength to resist such microscopic attacks. And this is the price to pay when milk and related products are not stored properly. Not only the loss of flavor and nutrition, but ongoing consequences such as dehydration from diarrhea or vomiting, persistent dull joint pain, and unexplained chronic fatigue. Every small lapse can steal vital energy, robbing the peace that old age deserves. The good news is, the solution is simple, easy to do, and entirely feasible. Always store milk in the refrigerator immediately after use. Ensure the fridge temperature is kept below 4 degrees Celsius. Keep milk in airtight containers, and never ignore the expiration date printed on the packaging. Your digestive system is not what it used to be, so don't gamble with it. But what if I told you that it's not just milk? There is another essential food, rich in vitamins and minerals, even known to improve memory, that can betray you if not kept refrigerated. A food seemingly harmless but easily wilts, loses nutrients quickly, and silently drains the precious nutritional value you rely on every day? You might be surprised, but this is why many people are using this food incorrectly without realizing it. Stay tuned for the next important item on this list: cooked meat and leftover food. There is a special sense of peace when dining at home, the familiar aroma spreading through the kitchen, the warmth radiating from the plate of food, and above all, the reassurance of knowing every ingredient in the meal you are eating. For many elderly people, leftover food is not only a matter of convenience but also part of a lifestyle habit of independence, saving money, and preserving the familiar flavors from the family kitchen. However, this very sense of safety can become a hidden danger if leftovers, especially cooked meat, are not properly and promptly refrigerated. Many people mistakenly believe that once food is cooked, the risk of food poisoning is eliminated. In reality, the risk does not disappear but actually increases. As soon as meat cools down at room temperature, dangerous bacteria such as Listeria, Clostridium perfringens, and salmonella can silently multiply. For older adults, with weakened immune systems and slowing digestive functions over time, the consequences of this bacterial growth can be far more serious. While young people might only experience mild discomfort for a few days, elderly people may face hospitalization, acute dehydration, and even life-threatening conditions. Within just 2 hours of leaving food at room temperature, bacteria can grow to dangerous levels. The alarming fact is that you cannot detect this with the naked eye. No smell, no color change, no clear signs until your body suffers the consequences. Even more dangerous is how the body reacts to infection. Food poisoning in older adults does not always start with severe stomach pain. Sometimes it is only slight confusion, a brief dizziness, or a mild fever, symptoms easily mistaken for normal aging. If not treated promptly, just one piece of meat left out too long can trigger a systemic inflammatory response, worsen arthritis, and put pressure on the heart or kidney organs that are already not functioning optimally. The purpose of sharing this is not to scare you but to warn you. Proper refrigeration is not only to preserve flavor but also acts as a barrier protecting health. An airtight container, a simple act like putting food into the refrigerator right after a meal, and monitoring how long food is left out can make the difference between a nutritious meal and a medical emergency. Remember this simple rule. If you are not going to eat immediately, cool the food quickly and refrigerate it as soon as possible. Mark the storage container with the date. Leftovers should be consumed within 3 to 4 days. After that time, even if the food looks and smells fine, the risk level has clearly increased. However, cooked meat and leftovers are not the only foods that require caution. There is another familiar food, soft and easy to eat, soothing but surprisingly quick to spoil. When spoiled, it not only causes stomach aches but can lead to a series of unpredictable health consequences, that is, dairy products. If you have followed this far and found the information useful, please leave comment number 1 below to let me know you are still with me. And now, let's continue exploring another food group. Leafy green vegetables, seemingly harmless, but if stored incorrectly, they can also cause serious digestive disturbances. Leafy green vegetables. We often think of leafy greens as fragile, soft, and easy to wilt. But in fact, they are among the most powerful sources of nutrition, especially important for the elderly. A bit of sautéed spinach with eggs in the morning, a cool salad for lunch, or kale for dinner, these simple dishes contain valuable nutrients that support memory, bones, blood circulation, and even emotions. However, because they are so delicate, leafy greens spoil easily. If not properly refrigerated, most of their nutrients will vanish. The decomposition process begins immediately after harvest. Unlike sturdy root vegetables or dried foods, leafy greens must be stored at cool temperatures to preserve their fresh flavor, crispness, and nutritional value. Just a few hours at room temperature will cause leaves to start wilting. But more seriously, nutrient loss is quietly underway. Folate, vitamin K, lutein, essential components for the brain, eyes, and cardiovascular system, begin to decline. This is a significant loss for older adults, who are already sensitive to micronutrient deficiencies. And it doesn't stop there. When the leaves lose water, become limp, and moisture accumulates, whether on the kitchen counter or inside an airtight container, these are ideal conditions for bacteria to multiply. Worryingly, signs of spoilage are not always obvious. A bit of pooled water, a discolored leaf edge, but beneath the surface, dangerous bacteria like E. coli or listeria may be lurking, pathogens that have caused many severe food poisoning cases due to improper storage. Therefore, the consequence is not just a mushy salad. It could lead to digestive upset, severe inflammation, dehydration, or systemic weakness, especially dangerous for the elderly, who are much more vulnerable than younger people. It is a missed opportunity to nourish the brain with folate, strengthen bones with calcium, and utilize vitamin K and antioxidants to protect the heart. A silent loss, often only realized when it is too late. But things can be different if we pay attention. The solution lies in careful handling. Leafy greens should be placed in the fridge's cool compartment, gently wrapped in paper towels to absorb excess moisture, and stored in perforated bags or containers. This not only prolongs freshness but preserves their true nutritional power. Now, as we conclude the discussion about what should be refrigerated and what should not, the question becomes very personal. How many kitchen habits do we follow out of routine, and how many from understanding? Because every food we store is a choice, and that choice contributes to our body's gradual weakening or daily strengthening. Think more carefully about those seemingly small actions. Your fridge, your health, let it truly serve you. The truth is, not all food should go in the fridge. Some lose all their nutrients, some get moldy or ferment dangerously, and some can even turn toxic, especially risky for older adults. Kitchen decisions, though small, can directly affect digestion, immunity, inflammation levels in the body, and even medication absorption. Leaving ripe bananas on the counter instead of the fridge, or storing onions in a dry place, simple steps, but they can boost health every day. Because what we all want as we age is not just to live long, but to live well. One thing I've learned crossing into middle age: the body talks to us through aches, indigestion, fatigue, and most of these signals root back to what we eat and how we store food. The fridge is not the enemy, but misusing it can quietly weaken your health. I don't say this to scare you. The goal is for you to be more aware and regain control. Small things, but truly important. A healthy kitchen doesn't have to be fancy or modern. You just need to know what needs refrigeration and what doesn't. A sincere advice from me, an older adult, to you. Take this week to organize your fridge and dry storage. No need to do it all at once, just a little every day. Label and date leftover foods for easy tracking. Make a small list of foods not to refrigerate and stick it on the fridge door. Just one piece of paper can help you and your loved ones avoid many risks. And if you can, share what you know with family, friends, neighbors, or grandchildren. This knowledge is not just for youths. It's a small gift that can help someone live healthier. I've made kitchen mistakes too, but I believe it's never too late to learn, change, and take better care of yourself. Because your body, your health, and your time are all precious. Thank you for listening. If you find these sharing useful, please send them to your loved ones who might need to hear this today. Until next time, take care of your food and let your food take care of you. I hope these insights inspire you to live fully and kindly every day. Now it's your turn. Think of one thing you learned today, write it down or share it with us. That's how we move forward together. If you like this content, leave a comment with one. If not, just 0. We really appreciate your feedback. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel to continue accompanying useful content. Thank you for following and wishing you live your life uniquely, healthily, and joyfully.